Welcome to Luthier's Tips, Tools and Training from Crimson Guitars. I'm Ben Crow and I'm a guitar builder. I'm on a journey. I've been doing this for a long time, and as is the case with pretty much anybody, but me in particular, things get boring, things get stale. And I'm trying to push my skills by looking outwards, by looking at other crafts, other artists, other skills. And I want to learn these things, bring them to guitars and see what happens that is new. I'm going to start this actually with a very quick update. I put out a video a few weeks ago saying, hey, I'm changing everything. Reading the comments, I'm going to pull back a little bit on that. Instead of me having a full video or video series of me doing something completely unrelated to guitars on the channel and asking you guys to watch it, that will be on a side channel. I will start with an idea. I will say, hey, I want to make a porcelain guitar. Let's go to this artisan, and we will have some of that story, some of that process, some of the learning filmed within a video series about building a porcelain guitar, or cold cast bronze, or solid bronze for that matter. I have access to the John Taylor Bell Foundry, and some fun will ensue, trust me. All of this is going to happen, and I'm very, very excited about this. You are going to see some incredible new builds. In the short term though, I've been in full self-preservation mode for the last year, 2 years. And part of my recovery from this mental health crisis is completing some projects. And I've got a lot of instruments that have been in the back of my head, a lot of projects. This is one of them. Now this was an Elm guitar. It was relatively heavy, and I drilled some holes in the side, wondering just how much weight loss would occur. Answer, not very much. But I've got these holes, and the problem is they're also slightly varying sizes because of how the bevels ended up on the sides. I need to fill these with something. The plan was to fill them with copper mesh or something like that. I'm doing that on the Cyberpunk, which is another one of these legacy projects that I'm in the process of finishing. And if you haven't checked that video out, check it out. Very cool. Smoke machines, lasers, etc. I'm stumbling over my words. I have been playing with casting, with moulding, and I've always fancied myself as a little bit of a carver. In this video, I'm going to fill these holes partially. I'm going to leave them hollow. I'm going to plug these holes with a custom carved flower / skull, because I like flowers. I like skulls. In combination, it's got to be good, right? So let's get carving and casting, why don't we? Oh, by the way, you could win this guitar. Massive sale on at Crimson right now, and part of that process is for, I think, every £10 you spend, you get a free ticket to win this instrument. So, hey, that's going to be cool, right? Let's see how it turns out. Burn it. Now, as well as collecting skills, I collect things. This is a particularly gorgeous repoussé silver-plated mirror. Art Nouveau, so 1900s, thereabouts, maybe earlier. And I love these flowers. What I want to do is carve a smaller version, potentially, of this one here. But I would like to add a skull to the center, because, well, I've seen tattoos like that, and I think they're cool. So now these holes are 27 to 28 mils or thereabouts, and I'm going to have the same flower, I think, in every single one of them, slightly recessed in this very hard casting plaster. I like the idea of the white against the wood. Also matches what's currently going on with the pickup surrounds and the pickups. Now, initially, I'm not actually going to be casting. I'm going to be sculpting with Plaster of Paris, which is not something that many people do. But if you mix good quality plaster of Paris. As it cures, you can mold it and cast it and get it close to where you want it to be. And then as it's drying, you can carve it before it gets too hard. Now this stuff dries very, very hard. It's quite special. There we go. This is starting to do its thing. Now, I have been playing with this technique on a slightly larger scale project, and you will see that. You will see that at some point. So this is that's my size. Now let's try and start building a 3D flower. It's still a little bit too liquid. Give this a couple of minutes, and this is going to take potentially a couple of mixes of plaster to get right. Now, where would life be if we didn't experiment and play? I'll answer. It would be boring. Very boring. So what I need to do is wait for this initial roundel to cure. And then I can really start adding stuff. And slash all, taking away. Yeah, I thought so. I've already made it too big. Okay, that's my starting point. This is going to get hard. I'm actually going to be able to use chisels now, well, soon, to get this right. Less than 5 minutes later, I've got something that is starting to cure up. And you can see I can actually carve it, which is quite fun. Now, let's start by drawing what we want, or at least engraving it in. And I can always add more material after the fact very, very easily. Out comes some carving tools. This is part way there. The whole time I've been working on this little roundel, I suppose we call it, it has been curing and getting harder and harder. And I'm going to leave it at this for about half an hour or so. And I'm going to start carving with a rotary tool, potentially. Something that defines me actually is the inability to know when to stop. And here we are. I've ended up not doing any carving with a rotary tool because it wasn't required. Here's that other piece that I put together that I just pushed on next to it. I can't snap that, and this is maybe an hour later. And I'm just going to put some here. Now, wet plaster sticks to dry plaster immediately, like scarily quickly. 5 minutes later, and this one is ready to play with. Very soft. Very soft indeed. All right, so there he is. Not quite finished. He could have a little bit more detail, but at this point I'm going to get a little rotary carving tool out. Not sponsored, not paid for. I have wanted a sort of a dental rotary tool, specifically a pneumatic one, for a long time, and just on the off chance I randomly went on the behemoth that is Amazon and found a very inexpensive dental rotary tool, and this is a micro motor thing, forward and reverse. Very small handle. This is the issue. I've got, my hands are very sore right now. Quick change bits, doesn't fit the Dremel standard size, but hey. And also a pneumatic engraving machine, which I have yet to set up, but combined at like a quarter of what I was expecting to spend on one machine. Foot switch too. I do still prefer working with real tools. Okay, because I don't want to have a carbon copy of this flower and this skull. Well, I made a quick mold of the original flower, slightly built up and slightly changed that a little bit, and I now have 3 flowers with 3 different skulls, and I can still replicate those. There's the first one. I did that a bit better. Number 2. Oh, look at that. By the third one, I really fluffed that. But the flower itself is fine. So we have 3 slightly different flowers and skulls, and frankly I need to practice drawing and making skulls, but now I can take some molds, I can take some casts in more plaster in each of these things, and then slightly adjust each of them as well. So we have 8 relatively unique elements to add to this guitar. I'm fully aware that this is completely bullshit. There's no need to put this on the guitar. There was no need to really drill holes in the side of the guitar either, but I went there anyway, so I might as well finish this. I'll catch you tomorrow, by which point we'll have some fun stuff to put together. Okay, day 2, and overnight I made half a dozen or so of these little round things. I need 8 of them, so I made more than I needed. Using the 3 original casts. I've also had some thoughts, and I'm not going to be using Plaster of Paris in the actual guitar. It's not quite waterproof. So we are going to go with a cold cast aluminium in this case. I've got my pitch bowl out. Let's now finalize the skulls and the flowers on every single one of these, so they're all unique. This is a slightly dusty pitch bowl. Basically, cast iron bowl. It's on a rubber substrate, which actually isn't quite tall enough for the bottom of the bowl. This means that you can rotate the bowl wherever you want and use it as a substrate for what you're working on. What I'm working on is this, and the trick is you lightly heat up the pitch, stick your bit of metal, or in this case plaster, down, and it dries very quickly and holds the piece, and then you can really give it some wheelie. Basically, I'm going in with some tools. This is one of my favorite tools of all time. I've got a collection of vintage scrapers that somebody created a long time ago. The handles are incredible, but they're all shaped, and this one here, we've got a little pointy doohickey on one side and a nice curved thing on the other, and it just allows me to go in and finesse each of these petals, change the shapes, scrape it away. No sanding involved, because hey, it's scraping, and scraping nice and clean. So we've got the brow ridge, we've got my phone beeping. Do you know what I need? I need reference. I don't want these to look too cartoony. I have several options. So first is Sirius, my rainbow boa, who's just chilling up there. He's got a plant pot. That's not particularly realistic, is it? I mean, he's pretty freaking cool, isn't he? Hello, dude. He's currently digesting. This is not a shrunken skull because you can't shrink skulls. Well, not without deforming them. This is a 3D scanned 3D printed skull that a friend gave me, which is pretty cool. Needs to be sanded down and stuff. But I got something else. Byron, should we get, yeah?
Meet Frank.
I don't want to call him Frank. What should we call the skull, guys? Okay, so I'm not a weirdo.
That's a lie.
I'm a weirdo. Okay, fine. This is the reference. This is a sort of Victorian or earlier medical specimen, and he's part of the family, really. Interestingly, you can see the drill hole where he was trepanned. I think this gives me the all the reference material I need. Poor dude. Aye. First of all, what do we call him? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. I've got some carving to do, and no, Byron, I'm not going to start quoting Shakespeare. Quoting is only impressive if you can quote the entire sonnet. So there's more of a there's a dip there. Now these are potentially too small, really, to get too much detail in, but it's certainly fun to try. That's a bit of right, isn't it? And here we go. A little bit later. A little bit of work and pain and time. But yeah, I've got eight done. I need to shape the backs now so that they fit into the various holes in the guitar, which I'm going to do off camera, and well, make molds and cast them. Woohoo! Okay, end of the day, and I've done a lot. I have shaped every single one of these patterns to fit individual holes, because the holes are all different, and out of each one, or from each one, I have taken a mold. So this is the pattern, that's the mold, and I have also poured in a cold cast aluminium mix. I kind of misjudged how much I had, and we've got a little surprise. This is the first time this mold has ever been used. Slightly worried about airflow, but yeah, this is just one of the original flowers, and that's actually come out okay. Sorry. There we go. You can see what we've actually, the white, I love the look of the white ones, I really do, but they don't show up all of the detail in the same way. So this stuff has only been in the molds for about 20 minutes. I'm going to leave it to cure overnight, which will make it much harder, and then we can buff and sand. So this is something that Byron made about a month ago now, and you made it. Byron sculpted this in clay, and I then poured silicone over it.
There are a lot more bubbles and ridges and a lot of mistakes in this because of the moulding process.
Well, no, it's the pouring process. So there wasn't anywhere for the air to go. What a skull flower should look like. Oh my God, Byron, that's so cool.
Polish, carve it, give it away with the guitar.
You want to add some carving to it. Byron's not allowed to be on camera yet, as per sort of agreement with the ex for now. I think this kid's probably going to be more talented than I am. With practice. You've got to leave them room to grow. Bear in mind this lad is just 10. It was your birthday a few weeks ago.
I'm going to carve the eyes, the nose, and the teeth to refine it more. Probably sand the bumpy bits. Fill in these crevices. And probably break off these cracks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to give it away with the guitar.
Fantastic. Okay.
Something like that.
Well, you heard it here. Zoomed in. This guitar is available on dailyguitardraw.com, which is our platform helping to fund and build the Dorset Guitar Museum, which is potentially the biggest thing I'm ever going to do in my life. And yeah, it is also, if you it's on the Crimson sale, so for every £10 you spend, you get a free ticket to win this guitar. Yeah, and that's ending soon, so check it all out. Anyway, back to the video. Welcome to about 10:15 at night. It's been a long day since. Okay. In the meantime, I have fit each one of those patterns to individual holes in the guitar. I have then taken some of that 2-pack silicone rubber and made a mold of each one of those pieces, and I have mixed equal parts polyurethane resin and aluminium powder to make cold cast aluminium. This has turned out even better than I had hoped. Some polishing, some buffing, and well, check it out. Cold cast aluminium, basically aluminium powder in polyurethane resin. I've genuinely rarely had this much fun in a build, and it's utterly superfluous. It's all last 5%. It's all just about the look. Oh, and just for fun, there's a little guy that I cut out. Hey, it's Halloween soon. Maybe I'll cast him in silver as a pendant or something. Let me know in the comments if you want one. Go and check out my my personal Instagram at the real Ben Crow. I know, cringe, isn't it? I'm seriously considering doing a batch of them for myself in sand casting them in, bronze and silver and stuff like that for fun. And if anybody wants one, well, yeah. But for now, I'm going to use some JB Weld. Essentially, that's epoxy that has, I think, steel shavings in it. I'm going to use that to glue each one of these in their respective cavities. Okay, one final step. I'm dusting the just still wet epoxy with some fresh aluminium powder. These holes were all ever so slightly awkward. They take after their creator. My original thought was that I was going to potentially paint the background, the disc behind each of these flowers, black to help the flower stand out. But the reflections are actually doing that perfectly well. And here we go. One completed project, only a few years later than it should be. I am, for the longest time, I've been thinking that I would be covering these holes or filling these holes with a simple wire mesh. And when the thought occurred to me to do essentially custom carved skulls in flowers with cold cast aluminium powder, all of this nonsense, I thought, what the hell, you don't have time for that. Why the hell, Benjamin Crow? And why the hell is this? It's this shot. It's doing things that push the boundaries, push your boundaries as a maker. There's a thing that psychologists say that if you want to have a fulfilling career, a fulfilling life, you want to always push yourself, always test yourself, always try things that are outside of your comfort zone, but not too much. If everything you do is easy, you're not fulfilled. If everything you do is at your skill level, you're not progressing or moving, and it gets boring and you're not fulfilled. If everything is 100 times harder than you are comfortable with doing, then you won't achieve it and you're not fulfilled. So find something that's 5%, 10% outside of your comfort zone, like, for example, the back plates, using cling film and Delft clay casting sand to do those and get a cool effect, or casting the cold cast aluminium. I've never really played with this before. I've not done these things. It's stuff that I know I can do, but these are the first times, and first times are important. Anyway, on that note, if you have not subscribed to the channel, here's your chance for a first time. Go and subscribe and click like and all that jazz. Like the Segway boy? Say yes, no, maybe?
What?
Yeah, anyway. This guitar could be yours if you're watching this video as it goes live. If I'm going cross-eyed, it's because I think there's a spider web or something floating, or it's a weird reflection in the lens, which is just freaking me out. Yeah, I'm done. I hope you like it. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. Ooh. Byron is going to finish sanding and sorting out the skull flower that he made that is going to be going with this guitar. So, yeah. Goodbye.